Okay, so this is a final video because I finally done a few things I've been meaning to do, mainly clean up the cables around the back panel and also switch out the two stock Cooler Master sleeve bearing fans with Noctua fans. So we'll have a look around the outside first. I have the Blu-ray in the bottom slot there. You can see the Noctua. The mesh at the top there. And this is a tray that I really like. I always put my change and my little stuff in there. And then around the side, there's the mesh around the side there, and that's actually good because of the, you'll see later, the video card is a wind force card, so it exhausts air out along the side, and that just comes out through this mesh, which is actually really good. Around the back, there's the other Noctua fan, and the I/O panel, and the power supply, Corsair. And here on this here's the back panel, and I'll show you behind there soon because this is the latest thing that I've updated. So I guess we'll start with this panel here. Just put it down for a second. So there is the inside. There's the top compartment there. These HAF 932 cases have lots of space along the top here, which is good. And there's the NHD14 cooler. There is my newly cleaned Gigabyte Windforce 6950 and the AX850. And then there's my NFP12 Noctua at the front and NFP12 at the back also. And those are the only two case fans, and those are set on PWM auto control speed, so they run about 800 RPM at an idle, which is the same as they would on the low noise adapter that comes with them. And then they will ramp themselves up to all the way up to full speed if it's necessary, depending on the temperature. Usually they'll go up to about 930 RPM or so, which is a little bit louder. And the Noctua CPU cooler has the low noise adapter, so those run at 800 all the time. And the CPU is not overclocked, so it never gets very hot. It never gets past 60, 63 or 65 degrees. So obviously power supply is an AX850. The motherboard is a Asus Sabertooth, which is my favorite. I love the colors of it. You can see it has kind of it kind of matches the Noctua colors a bit. It's kind of like an army, earthy colors. It has black, the board itself's black, and then there's like a green, and there's a brown and a kind of a gray, a taupe kind of color. So here I will show you around the back now. So here is the cabling job that I did around the back of the case. So the 932 only has one set of loops down along here and one along here. A lot of other cases have like one along here, and some of them have two sets of cable grommet holes, here and one farther out, or here and one closer in rather. And I had to overlap a few cables. This is the front panel, USBs and stuff. And then this is power for the video cards. And then this is the motherboard power. So I had to sort of, you can see I kind of wrapped the three sets of cables around. And then this is the power button and power LED stuff. I ran that down along here. And then the rest of the stuff, this is the shades just go down and along here. And the front fan goes up and along here. And then the fan cables, I kind of bunched them up and zipped them up along horizontally along the top there. So that's the latest thing, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I really like it. And then the back panel of the motherboard just has standard stuff: USB, eSATA, USB 3, SPDIF out, audio, Ethernet. And then my video card, it can support the 3 monitors, so it has 2 DVI, 1 HDMI, and 1 DisplayPort. And I actually have a mini DisplayPort to regular DisplayPort adapter, and I can run my Apple Cinema display off of this card on the PC. So that I think that's about it. Other than the quick, it's an i7 920 processor and 12 gigabytes of RAM, 1600 megahertz OCZ RAM, Gold Series. Like I said, Radeon HD 6950, the Wind Force cooler, which you can. Here, I'll give you a review of that really quick. There it is there. You can see it's got the 3 fans. It's very quiet at idle, and when the card heats up, it auto controls the fan. Sometimes it'll get a little bit louder, but overall it's quite good, and the card is always really cool, so that's good. You can see the front panel connections there, HA connections, USB connections, there's the PWM connection for the fan, and there's the connections for the optical, and obviously the power for the video card, and power for the motherboard, and 8-pin power for the motherboard there, and the fan connection just there. That's about it. There's the Noctua NHD14 fan cables coming up just there. So I think that's just about it. Can't think of any other things to talk about. There's the you can see the mesh along the top. The air just passively flows out to the top, and you can see the way the video card is. All along here is exhaust. so it exhausts and then passively comes out through the side panel mesh. So it actually kind of works out perfectly the way this case is set up with all the mesh. I can have just the two Noctua fans running quietly and have lots and lots of passive cooling with all the mesh in the case. And there's even mesh. The PCIe plate covers are even mesh. There's mesh on there. So there we go. That is my gaming computer. And this is the final video that I wanted to make to show everything the way it is. And this is the end of it.